I guess I've never been to a fancy enough restaurant. Excuse me, why have you never taken me to one?
Hi guys, what's up? This is Kalina from the United States and me, Jan, from Germany.
Welcome back! In this video, we are going to talk about differences between dining out at restaurants in the US and in Germany because we haven't been to a restaurant in a really long time. Everything is still shut down here in Germany for right now, so we are going to bring that restaurant feeling to this video.
First point. This here. What is that? Germany learned that.
We've mentioned this in another video before about the free water. That's like necessary. When you go to a restaurant, like they just bring you water, like glasses, and fill it up with water like as you're sitting down. So you're sitting down and you already have your glass of water and they will come and refill it even if you've only taken 2 sips. There will be a waiter just everywhere, just refilling that water all night long.
The first time I saw that was at the Dominican Republic. I really like that, having a fresh glass of water. I don't know if it was fresh, but it was a nice glass of water. And I really like that you don't have to ask them and you already got that. In German restaurants, it's not usual to get a glass of water. You can order that, and the most of the time you just get carbonated water, like with the soda.
Like
with
they'll bring you out a tiny glass bottle of water that's usually bubbly water, and you're gonna pay at least €3 for just this tiny bottle.
So it's pretty expensive. I mean, there are some restaurants where you of course get free tap water, but they don't have to give it for free. It's just from the restaurant himself, which can decide maybe I can give it you for free or not.
It's very uncommon here to see people just drinking tap water. And I know some people have argued before, like, well, like restaurants, like they rely on like making money, obviously, but in the US, people still order drinks. You get your free water, and then as you're sitting down, they take your drink order too. So most people have their glass of water, and then maybe they order a soda, like a cola or a lemonade or something as well. And so people are still paying for drinks. I mean, sometimes people won't, but I think they still get enough customers who order drinks as well. In the US, you get free refills, not just on your water, but on most of the drinks, like non-alcoholic drinks. So you order a Coke, it comes in just a normal glass, they will bring you out filled with ice, your cola, and anytime they see that that's getting empty, they're like, oh, can I get you another one? And at most restaurants, this is included. If it's not, they specifically write it on the menu.
That brings me to the next topic. Waiters in America are so much nicer than in Germany.
How do you know? Yeah, I'd have to agree with this though, that they're just like overly friendly in the US. So they will come and introduce themselves, get to know you and your family or your friends, ask you what you're there for. Like they'll get really personal and really friendly, and they will constantly be like circling your table. They'll stop by, like whenever they see something's getting low, they will come and give you whatever you need. So I think this is pretty awesome, but also a lot of waiters have to do this because they rely on tips. So like the more friendly they are, the more personable they are, the more likely that they'll get a better tip at the end. So that's definitely different than in Germany, because German waiters don't rely on tips.
It depends what you like, of course, but I like the friendly kind, and I know there's some Germans which can also be friendly. Yeah. It's not that everyone is unfriendly here.
Waiters here just come, they get your order and they leave.
That brings me to the next thing, like paying for a toilet.
You have to pay at the restaurant? No, I've never done that here.
Yes, just go to Cologne or something like that.
Do they have like a bathroom butler? Like
yeah,
that you pay them? Like
yeah,
you tip them?
someone is sitting there and then they're like looking at you, and if you don't pay, you get
because they're the ones like cleaning the bathrooms or like refilling towels and stuff.
You get really uncomfortable eyes.
That's really interesting. I guess I've never been to a fancy enough restaurant. Excuse me, why have you never taken me to one?
I mean, when it's getting really fancy, then you don't have to pay for it, but...
Yeah, but normally, I guess in the US, we have this as well. but it's at like really fancy restaurants where they have like someone like dressed up in a suit, like a tie, and then they have like fresh mints. I don't know. I'm a fraud. I've never been to a really fancy restaurant.
The person who sit here at the toilet, they don't have a suit on or a tuxedo.
I don't know if they have tuxedo. I meant like a tie, like a nice shirt.
Yeah.
Like it's like a fancy thing.
No.
I don't know. We're not fancy.
We're not fancy enough for that. That brings us to the next topic.
Alcohol in restaurants in Germany, not a problem at all. But in the US, in some states, they like to separate things more. So depending on where you are, you might find a restaurant where they have a specific bar section that like you have to show your ID to enter. And then they'll have the remaining restaurant where like families and everyone can sit. So I just thought this was interesting then coming to Germany and Europe elsewhere that like there's a lot more like pub style places which just sell food and are also like pubs. So it's like basically a bar. And there's children, like 5-year-olds, just sitting at the pub with their families, and that's
Drinking
totally
some
normal. Yeah, okay.
No, but
maybe in Germany.
I mean, it's allowed. It's drinking beer at 16.
Yeah.
So it's not that complicated here.
Yeah, but even like young kids are allowed in these types of areas.
Drinking beer, yeah.
No, are allowed to like sit in like a pub type area. That's not allowed in the US. In Germany and a lot of places I've been to in Europe, you have to ask for the check to pay. And I remember one time being in Switzerland with my mom and we were just like waiting forever. We wanted to go home. We were tired and our waiter was nowhere to be found. Also, like they don't come around like in the US and check on you. They kind of like give you your food and then they disappear. And you have to flag down a waiter so they can bring you your check. And me and my mom were sitting here for maybe 30 minutes just being like, where's our waiter? Like, keep your eyes open. Like, we're looking around. And finally, like, we saw him and we're able to get the check. But in the US, they will, like, sometimes bring you a check, like, even before you're all finished eating. Which also I think is not ideal. But, I mean, most of the times they wait. They'll be like, oh, like, everything, we're finishing up here. Anybody looking at dessert tonight? And you either say yes or no, and if you say no, then they'll be like, okay, I'll bring the check out then. Because again, they're working on tips, so if you're not going to order anything else, they want to move your table so they can get new customers in. Whereas in Europe, it's way more relaxed. Like people just sit for hours at their table. Still waiting for the check!
The last topic is tipping.
Do Germans tip?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, you're so nice.
I don't know if it's pretty common, but I guess a lot of people tip here. So I guess from my perspective, many Germans give a tip. A good one, yeah. Not like they just count like that, maybe. Like, I don't know. It's not that there is a rule or something.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, because I've seen that, like I've noticed obviously that you tip, but in a lot of countries in Europe, it's not expected, I'd say. It's not like required, and so I think that's something that's different because in the US it is expected, like you should be tipping. There's always a line on your receipt where you can just add a tip, like if you paid with a card, then they'll just add that tip. They'll just charge it back to your card. I'd say now in the US like 10% is a pretty low tip.
Oh, really?
Now people are paying like 15%, sometimes even 20% tip.
Whoa.
Which is a lot. The other thing is because it's expected, like sometimes they just automatically charge you a tip. So you don't get a choice in how much you tip. If you have a party of 6 people or more, they will automatically charge you. Most restaurants, like a nice sit down restaurant, will automatically charge you 15 or 20% on your bill.
In Germany, it's also common like when you don't like the waiter or how he acts, so you don't have to tip him. So it's not that expected.
But that's good to like know as a foreigner that it's more and more common to tip here in Germany, because a lot of times in traveling you're like, oh, like we're not in America and tipping's not a thing here. But if it is more popular, then it's really embarrassing then if I like don't tip. So this is a good fact for everyone watching.
Tip.
Leave us a comment below and let us know what it's like going to restaurants for you. If you can even remember what it's like going to a restaurant.
What's a restaurant?
I don't know. Hopefully we can go back to some soon. Support some good local restaurants here.
Restaurants.
Okay, just like and subscribe and we will see you next time. Bye guys.
What's restaurants? Bye. A building where you can eat dishes? What is that? I don't know. I don't know what a restaurant is.